of critics, down the stretch, they had this 8-2 stretch with their main roster, right? And people are still saying, yeah, but their wins are very messy. They go to a lot of 50-50 Barons, messy team fights. They didn't have proper setups. But if you look at game 2, that is very well closed out game. They didn't take a lot of risks, but they still pushed the pace.
Certainly did. Looking good so far. And we'll see what changes here for CLG again. If anything, as an inter-champion select for our third one here. Camille, Aurelian Sol, and Lulu banned once again by FlyQuest. Malzahar Nautilus with the one to come for CLG.
Yeah, I think it's good for FlyQuest to stick with a similar ban strategy. I think that the area that they might want to switch up, though, would be in the picks, right? They mentioned a little bit on the analyst desk how much success FlyQuest have had previously when Balls is on tanks. So maybe switching over to that, as Darshan has already shown that he has multiple counters that he is willing to run into the Rumble if Balls goes that route again.
And this looks good here for FlyQuest. Last ban Shen there for CLG. Please first pick Rengar, this time over to Moon.
Still, it's going to be Graves over to Smithy, and that's going to be a great pick for him, so I don't think they're too worried. You could tell that there was going to be a change-up because blue side FlyQuest banning out the Lulu, not willing to first pick it this time around, knowing CLG would grab it on red side for sure.
Well, we'll see if Moon can make a difference. Hai and Moon were really the stars of the team again in the early stages. A lot of the aggression that people associate with FlyQuest do come from them, so maybe we even see some of those assassins picked early here for FlyQuest if they want to go all in on that sort of strategy. CLG, though, there's the Ashe already picked up. Maybe gets a jungler. I imagine Nami comes somewhere in these next two picks, but CLG are going to stick to where it's consistent in the bottom half of the map.
Yeah, the Ashe does a lot of things for CLG. She has good shoving, good wave management in the bottom lane to start out in the laning phase, transitioning really well with the Ashe arrow to bring that initiation for the team so that it does open up Smithy to go for some of the options like the Graves and be that premier jungler.
Yeah, this is what I thought. All right, Rumble picked in there for Balls again, but Hai goes straight to town. He says, I'm sick of phase 2 bans in my lane. I'm taking this assassin.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good pick for him. It's someone that he can get involved early. He's not relegated just farming the lane. He can move around the map and try to make something happen.
Even though Hai's most played is Orianna, and he's had a lot of really good Orianna games, you just have that feeling. You know that Hai's not really in his element, and this is the style of champion that he loves to play. And he was actually very good on their single Talon game that we got to see from them, weaving in and out of the team fights, which is kind of the crucial make or break for me, for pro Talon players is, yeah, you can get your early roams off sometime and you can affect the side lanes, but can you actually get in there and assassinate people within the dragon fights or the setups around objectives?
And that is going to be very difficult for him to do, but he has a chance to do it. And, FlyQuest is not the same kind of team to just draft the same way over and over and over and go down 0-3, so they are going to go down, trying something new.
Well, last pick Fizz there for CLG's first phase means we are moving into bans for our next one. CLG banning Ezreal away from Altec, and there's Vladimir banned away from, I assume, Huhi. Once again, CLG can flex the fears, but we saw Darshan already have success on the pick versus the Rumble in particular. CLG, though, maybe another AD carry ban comes out, and there's the Varus actually banned away from Altec as well.
Yeah, I think CLG would like to force Altec onto one of those more fringe picks yet again. Try and reduce any threat from that bottom side of the map.
That said, Caitlyn's still available. A lot of strong supports still available. FlyQuest could draft a very solid bot lane here. We'll see what CLG wants to take away. Nami has been working for them, but you could draft Karma Caitlyn right into that.
Actually, that's a good point, because the Caitlyn was one of the things that saved a couple of the FlyQuest games during the regular split. Even though they had been giving up a couple of kills on the top side and not doing so well in the early game, the Caitlyn lane was so reliable for them, pushing down turrets and trying to fund their early game that way by taking bottom turret and then rotating him up to the top side. So FlyQuest could return to that, and especially works well if you can take down early turrets paired with a Talon, more room for him to parkour around.
Well, there's the Nami for CLG as expected, so FlyQuest going to need to finish off the bottom lane here. Altec, he does love his big, more late
reckless
game carries.
envy. Yeah, Altec has a lot of...
Caitlyn will do. It's not quite Twitch, but does fulfill a pretty similar role. Another champion at Altec has had success on this season and is more of the style that he is comfortable with. It's just a matter of what does Lemon Nation want to do here.
Yeah, I'm kind of expecting the Karma, but Zyra would not surprise me either. Lemon loves to play the Zyra, and I think the Karma does make more sense with this composition. I think just as far as a solid lane and for speeding up both the Rengar and the Talon.
Also, easier to dodge skill shots with the Karma. You can speed yourself up a little bit more. Tanky as well. And we'll see how well Lemon can survive this time around, because LeBlanc will make that difficult.
Well,
Or Gunblade Lichbane.
I was going to say, I think we're going to see a repeat of the build if this is the pick here for Huhi. It's kind of funny to see LeBlanc fall all the way down, but Huhi going to play something a little safer perhaps here. Syndra, just such a solid overall pick if she finds the right lane.
And I mean, one of the things that has been a common trend with FlyQuest is they have not been drafting frontline. They have not been drafting tanks. And when you have champions like the Fizz and like the Syndra who can pick people off, and like the Ashe, it's pretty much whoever you hit is a good target. That is one of the things that I really like about CLG's composition here.
Yeah, and we talk about returning to some of the things that FlyQuest had success on in the normal season. Not only was it the Caitlyn pushing down lanes and Altic and Elimination actually, having lane control for a little bit due to those champions, but also Moon and Hai are on Assassins. Those are the two that you want to see roaming around, getting early kills, creating space for the team. They're going to have to execute on that, though. That is always the key, of course.
I mean, I think that's it for me. We had an ult stream looking at the shot calling in the first 2 games, and if you watch the first 2 games here, it just looks like Hai can't do anything at all. CLG's plan was to completely stifle Hai as far as how he wants to play. And now Hai's saying, you know what? Fine. I'm going to pick an assassin. I'm going to try and get unlocked. FlyQuest more than anything needs the momentum. This is the type of game where FlyQuest can really open it up early. And if they win this game, what's to stop them from maybe just taking that momentum and riding it through the rest of the series? Because at this point, they have to win.
Sweep after an 0-2 start to the series? Basically unheard of.
Definitely didn't see that in the LCS.
Definitely have never seen that before.
Hi, Lamb. I'm not sure he's done it before. Not particularly.
The world out there, baby.
But we'll see what happens here for FlyQuest in this 3rd game. CLG only 1 away from sweeping the series and going up against old friends TSM.
And FlyQuest only 3 games away from reverse sweeping the series and going up against their old rivals.
It's only 3
Only 3 matches go easy peasy.
Well, let's start with 1 game. How about that? 3 games now. Elimination's got to be thinking to himself as they're out onto the rift for this next one here. We'll see if FlyQuest have anything fancy cooked up for level 1. Doesn't look like it in these early stages. Another defensive fan here. We'll see where the early wards do go down as Munich Smithy. An early face-off here. Rengar versus Graves.
I do think it's very important, this last game for CLG, even if they were to win here, the form which they show, because they're going to be going up against the best team in the league, TSM next, and if they are able to win, they need to be on a very high level to actually compete against them.
Interesting hesitation here from the CLG duo Invade that walked over a ward. Let's see if they get trapped.
Oh, they might.
Currently getting trapped.
Oh, Hai gets the rake down. Smithy now going to get targeted in. It looks like they want Huhi, but they might have to turn it back around. Rushes there, so Rengar maybe enabled. Is now Lemon Nation also getting damage down both. He's going to move in, but there's first blood to Moon. FlyQuest sniff out the level 1 and now going to keep chasing Huhi's flash is gone.
That's definitely the way that you want to start it out. Defensive ward opening from FlyQuest before they move down to the bottom and start harassing, sees the invade from CLG, and they do capitalize on it. Money going over to Moon. Talked about snowballing on these 2 assassins for Moon and Hai. They've started.
Plus, easy gank target in the mid lane. Huhi is down his flash against 2 assassins, both having their flash available.
Watch how this one happened again here. You can just see the tribe close so nicely.
Yeah, and then Rengar's so good at chasing people down in these early level 1s too. That's why they don't have to commit any more people. And they dictate everybody else to go down and chase Huhi, which forces that flash to really, really secure this mid-jungle lead for the team.
Well, looks like bottom lane took a little bit of early poke from Stixxay and Afro, so Lemon and Altic forced to play back for a little while longer. Altic should be able to pick up his first CS or 2 very quickly. Gonna miss that second one there, but I think a perfectly fine trade. This Hai should be playing hyper aggressive in this bottom lane. Level 2 already. He's gonna get the lane pushed in, and we'll see if Moon goes for an early visit. Right now, still farming it up on the bottom side, but already level 3 for the Rengar.
And I do want to see FlyQuest commit to this mid lane. This is your opportunity. This has been gifted to you off that level 1. You now have a flash down. I think they need to execute on that kill and get both their assassins snowballing.
And Talon is actually very good at tower diving, even fairly early on into the game. One thing people don't always think about on Talon is the versatility of parkour and how you can go for a flash in or a Q and try and dive the champion, save your parkour for exiting the lane, jumping out of tower aggro. You can just hop over either of the walls on either side. after going for what seems like a super risky move. That being said, Moon right now is up on the top quadrant of the map, and we'll see if he lends some support with to ball side as well.
His ganks will be extremely powerful with the early double longswords off that first blood gold. Even Smithy has to show a lot more respect to the early game Rengar than he normally would.
Well, spotted there. High actually going to get some extra vision with the Scry's Bloom. Gets a ward onto the red buff as well. We'll see it go on, so information going in the right places here. Moon just continuing to farm it out for a little while longer, but might even think about something here. He's going to try and spot for the Crux. Doesn't quite get over the top, but ward's going to help him out. Should make it over.
It's okay, I'm Rengar. It does cost him his trinket ward, though.
Darshan has actually warded that out there, too, so he does know that this could be coming. We'll see if they try to pull off the dive anyway. Fizz can be pretty slippery with these dives.
Yeah, very risky to go for a Rengar Rumble dive. Yeah. No way to drop tower aggro other than flashing yourself out.
On the other hand, Ball's just doing fine on his own, so Moon maybe covering for a gank from Xmithy, but we know he's in the bottom lane. This could be really nice for CLG. Afram already taking too much damage. He's going to try and bait it in. Smoke screen down. Elimination going to dodge the bubble. Afram himself not able to convert a kill there for Xmithy.
Yeah, Afro does take a lot of damage, but he still has his pots. There's no pots remaining on the FlyQuest bot lane, so that chunk from Smithy is actually pretty big, simply because these guys don't have a lot of regen left.
The bottom lane has been under pressure ever since the level 1 from FlyQuest, and they are down a significant amount of deep CS here to the Ashe Nami, which is an incredibly potent and annoying lane to have to try and fight.
2 ignites in that bottom lane as well, so certainly looking to play aggressive. Elimination going to go back. Artifact will stay alone for a little while longer. And now Darshan backing onto Balls. Balls actually
Balls has the
eating.
bot. Yeah, he's in trouble. The Ignite is available.
Really nice there from Darshan. Gonna look to keep chasing it down. Does land the slow in, but Darshan can keep going. Urchin Strike in. Ignite's already down, but it's not quite enough, I don't think. Scrap Shield is gonna keep Balls alive.
Still great trade of Summoners. The Ignite, much shorter cooldown than that Flash, and that can mean that when you hit 6, you can go right back for that all-in.
Exactly. You don't even have to wait for Ignite to come back up. You can just go for the kill, knowing that there's no movement here from the Rumble. So Balls has to play defensively now. Maybe they'll get some vision up there for him, because he's going to have to start worrying about the dive.
And that is the risk of staying up there that long, doing that later TPs, trying to push it in. Fizz can just go aggressively onto you, and now has a Haunting guy, so has some combat power to fight back.
Still, though, sitting on a CS lead for himself. That's what overstaying and shoving constantly will do for you. Smithy popping the plant right over the wall there.
We'll have to see kind of how the rest of it shakes out here, because Moon has just been farming up a storm. We kind of mentioned earlier that who he could have been a gank target, but his splash is actually almost back up. Instead, Moon looks like he's just trading for farm and maybe waiting for 6 to really engineer a strong game.
Wait no longer, Pastry. 6 has arrived for the Rengar. Let's see what the First Blood Rengar can do. They've actually hit 6 on Balls as well and have previously placed wards in the jungle. So this is looking to be a pretty good setup for FlyQuest. Wonder how cautious Smithy will be.
Yeah, I mean, Smithy could get caught out very easily. There's so much vision control in this top side. This is essentially FlyQuest territory now, which means that Darshan even has to be exceptionally careful.
Definitely true. Balls is in the tri-brush here. Darshan only knows that Balls is shown here.
Well, it's going to actually slow him down. And here comes the Rengar ultimate pop. Now Darshan knows something's up. Equalizer not too bad. Going to try and cut off his option. Darshan looks to get away, but Xmithy could be able to save this one. Moon looking to still chase it down. The smoke screen's good, but Moon just takes down Darshan. Now lifts it onto Xmithy is high. Going to get all into the mid lane, but now going to turn it back around. Shadow of
the bleed.
Onto who he bleed is down. Ignite looked as well. Flash in from high. Going to try and take it down, but he doesn't get it.
Yeah, he still hasn't been able to get that auto off. So the 3 things sitting under Syndra there, if he gets the auto off, that means it's been triggered. So close. Regardless, though, even with that Ignite damage, High not able to take him down. And now Hui is up a summoner.
It is cracked the way back.
They've lost control of the top side, and Darshan, now is falling quite far behind as far as the farm goes. He lost the pressure that he had there, and Smithy is going to be hard for him to catch back up.
Elimination roaming towards the mid lane, going to find Xmithy with an empowered Q. Smithy's still chasing.
This is actually so smart by Lemon to be over here. He knows that this is the only place Smithy can go to farm because Moon has the full top side. He's denying this, so Moon can come down and farm both sides.
Plus, here comes the rotation from High coming down to protect their red buff as well. Full team effort collapsing onto Smithy and Aframu here.
Something at level 5 as well there for Graves. Aframu also taking chunk damage there from the Karma. Rengar threatening despite no ultimate, so they have to book it out of the jungle. And Xmithie will only get a Scuttle Crab for all the time spent trying to get something back in FlyQuest jungle.
Lemon was able to stand toe-to-toe with the Graves. They're same level. Smithie's still level 5 here in the jungle, and definitely feeling the pain.
Yeah, Moon is almost 8. As Xmithie is going to hit 6 here pretty soon. Like, that is insanely far behind. Plus, the Warrior completion is going to come in for Moon. He has every opportunity.
Darshan goes fishing. They're going to tower dive in onto balls. Damage is pretty good. Playful Trickster comes down. Should be a kill. Darshan gets it, but the tower shot. He's going to make it in front. The Cannon Creep takes him down.
Minions do secure the kill there for Ball, so he's at least able to get his gold back. And he definitely did need that. You don't want to let Darshan get out of control with the tower diving.
One big thing about that, though, is Darshan had the minion wave push when he dies. This means that the minion wave bounces, Balls loses that farm, so even in a trade kill, it's a great play for Darshan because of the lane position.
Yep, going to even that CS right back up as well. Within touching distance of about 7 as Darshan now going to spawn back. Teleport not going to be used, has the wave in that perfect position, like you said.
And the serrated Dirks are coming through for the Assassins of FlyQuest. Let's take a look here as Darshan's going for said dive. He knows that there's no flash on Balls, there's no Zhonya's on Balls, so he will be able to complete the kill. The only question there is, will he get out? Answer is no. And he loses 6 ranged minions basically there to the tower.
Yeah, and it means that he's set up to be able to have lane positioning for an all-in to threaten ganks, things like this as well. So definitely a nice play from Darshan. And he needs to put pressure on. He can't sit back and play passively in this game because his team doesn't have the advantages they did.
He has to be super careful doing that, though, because the Rengar is off and flying right now. The other kill did also go over to Moon. So that is one thing that you have to really keep in mind on a flashless top laner. Even though Fizz does have the E to jump up on his little pogo stick there, usually you're going to use that for your damage combo, and it's very punishable, especially for a champion like Rengar.
I mean, just to reiterate, Moon has a finished Warrior and a serrated Dirk, so he has an insane amount of early lethality and attack damage, and High has been able to finally push a lane and get something started.
They're going to try to set up a dive here, 4-man on the bot side. Could just take the turret if CLG backs off, so it's win-win for FlyQuest, and they're going to get the turret probably.
I mean, what is CLG supposed to do here? They can't defend with the dive.
You can do.
Well, they try and do something on the other side of the map. There's no way you're fighting the area that the Rengar is. We talk about how fed he is. Good ward there from Balls does see Xmithie move in as they're trying to make a play on the other side of the map, and FlyQuest should be able to get away with that one scot-free. First turret gold for themselves, transition into the Drake as well. There's no way that CLG will contest this. Darshan, even though he has teleport, Xmithie's up on top side with him. Yeah. So huge gains for FlyQuest and a very intelligent setup on that bottom side.
Yeah, they played it very well to their strengths, and a lot of credit to Balls, because not only does the ward keep him safe, it gets the dragon, right? As you said, you spot out Xmithie, there's no risk in doing that, and FlyQuest is looking reinvigorated here after a great level 1.
Yeah, I mean, level 1 certainly went their way, but I have to say, Moon looking good, playing much smarter, able to kind of use that lead and run away with it. The other one is always high on FlyQuest, and even though he hasn't had too many roams, he hasn't really left a lane, just his ability to free push the lane and threaten the side lanes has changed FlyQuest's play so much already.
It really hasn't. Another thing I want to track in this game is how fast FlyQuest can push the pace of this game. They were actually the fastest average win time in the LCS. They are a team that knows how to close out games, and that would really help them get some confidence back.
And step number 1 in doing that is what we talked about in Champ Select. Take bottom turret with your Caitlyn, rotate her up to the top side, and start to chain that global gold of those turrets, even though more of the gold was made local.
I mean, FlyQuest are actually pretty insanely far ahead. 3,000 gold already this early into the game, with our second Lemon threatening yet another turret.
So I would say continue to fight around their strengths there. You know, bring the Rengar money up next to this Caitlyn money, and try and stay safe, basically. You play on your strengths when you're that far ahead in the early game, then it becomes very difficult to throw away your lead, as most of the skirmishes will go your way as long as they are even numbered.
And for CLG, you know, a lot of times the game plan when you fall behind becomes trust in the late game stick save. But when you're on Ashe against double assassins, it's so hard to actually stay safe and be effective.
Darshan Moon having a bit of a battle fish. He's going to land behind. Looks for the assassination, Shadow Assault in. Looks like he actually wants to take a few more down, but a great start. Now they're going to turn around. Huli, massive outplay. And Ball's just a little late to this one.
Huhi absolutely destroys them. Knocks High back out of the queue there that was going to collapse onto Darshan. Protects his teammate, plus throws out the R on the backswing, getting the kill as well. This guy has definitely been a star for CLG.
He has been doing it all today. That Scatter of the Week was honestly beautiful, and that's the kind of play that can get CLG back in this game. Now they're going to pressure topside with the man advantage.
And all of a sudden, that pressure FlyQuest had to dissipate with CLG now grouping up for this turret. They should be able to clear this out, so it might take a wave or two. We'll see if CLG do want to stick around to make sure this turret falls, but FlyQuest back resetting the map as we'll watch this again.
Yeah, and the reason Moon is actually trading with this top laner, even though he knows he can't finish the 1v1 with him, because High had the inside track. But here's the play that we're all looking at. Huhi able to get the stun knockback off there, throws out the R on top of it, and absolutely changes the face of the game there for a second. FlyQuest still have a very significant lead. They can still get right back to their same old game plan, trying to knock down the outer turrets there. Because top did not actually fall. It really does break a decent amount if that top turret does go over to CLG, but FlyQuest able to hold on to it. We'll see if they spend any more resources up on that top side.
I mean, Caitlyn is fantastic at sieging, on that top side, but at the same time, there's always risk when you're that far up against an Ashe, right? They can turn that around and look to try to just kill you off, and instead of trying to just clear waves, there's always the threat of the engage with Nami Ashe.
Looks like another attempt mid lane though here. Moon and Balls grouping in to look to threaten that mid turret or just take down Huhi. They can get it as well. After they're going to clear out a ward, does take FlyQuest control ward out of the picture, and this 2v2 shots kind of getting even. Lemonation just hanging back, letting Altec farm up what he can.
I actually really like how Balls has been playing this matchup, where he's just waiting for the minion wave to crash and threatening roams nonstop, but the gank is coming in mid lane.
Another threat onto Huhi. Doesn't have a flash, but the stun's good. High waits it out. Shadow Assault's in, and there's the bleed for the kill. Double TP straight to the mid lane. Also countered it around the same time. Smithy going to clean up what he can.
Yeah, Balls opted for better safe than sorry on that teleport answer, because if it was just a teleport, then High and Moon would be fine there, but there's a possibility that Smithy was closer. Meanwhile, though, FlyQuest looking for a little bit more on the invade, and that top turret does fall.
Thanks to that mid pressure.
Yeah.
CLG tried to pull down.
And the threat of FlyQuest mid lane roaming up top, right? They go into Fog, they move up towards the top side. That causes CLG bot lane to back off the turret and secures them even more gold. So really rotating that pressure around the map well.
Rumble Ultimate's still available, and he's level 11 now as well, so they can turn a lot of focus towards the last outer turret standing here in the mid lane as soon as Altec gets off his purchase and is able to join them. Trying to punish the flashless Syndra here does look a little bit trivial. He had so much overkill damage there that there was no way Huhi surviving that one, and High was able to get one right back.
Looks like a Drake up in 45. CLG going to move themselves back to this right-hand side of the rift and make sure they have control down there with the duo lane. Things looking good for Stixate in the CS department. Blade of the Ruin King actually now done, but Altec, I think going Runins after these two early AD items, he's going to be pretty strong when that rolls around. And High just went straight BF Sword. So also looking for a pretty big boost in damage.
Yeah, going to be going towards that Dust Blade, which really does help his burst combo. And I also don't underestimate the vision from it. As you actually get that proc, you can sweep out wards. It really helps make sure that your assassination paths are clear.
It does play in really well with the assassination style. I'm curious if he'll finish his Hexdrinker first there. He got the parts. Didn't feel... The Hexdrinker shield is just such a big value as soon as you can complete it. But he probably had 1,300 exact gold or whatever left over for the extra power of the BF sword and went for that. So this is a Drake trade for top pressure. Once FlyQuest hear the dragon being taken, they can send Balls and Moon onto the actual turret. They weren't committing to it before. Minion wave has been cleared out though. Wonder if they still get it with the Caitlyn and Karma heading up.
Yeah, Darshan is just going to have to back off. There's a 4-man squad. Fizz does not have much wave there. You can try to throw a max range ult to knock out the minions, but Moon actually smartly comes up and blocks it to save the minions, so that was intentional.
Lemonation going to threaten now as well, but FlyQuest should be able to get this pretty cleanly. Caitlyn in the siege power. He's able to take it down. Now Darshan actually goes into a trap. The tether. He's not going to follow Darshan, gets himself out of the way, but High also dodged a 3-man attempt by CLG in the bottom lane, so FlyQuest up on the trade.
And I actually do like that trade for FlyQuest. Their objective is to open up the entire map as quickly as possible. And they don't care so much about another Ocean Drake. Yeah, it is a little bit of health regen for CLG, but these are assassins. They're killing people very quickly. And I think that FlyQuest would much rather have more room to work with and continue their invades on that quadrant.
I also like the idea of pushing into Darshan. You know, he doesn't have wave clear on the Fizz. He wants to be 1v1 dueling the Rumble, and they're not allowing him the time to actually have that sort of a setup. And pushing the pace like this is in their favor.
It's also kind of a FlyQuest signature here, so it does feel like they're a bit more back in their element. The gold lead, though, hasn't grown too much more. 4,000 amp for FlyQuest is good, but it was 3,000 at about 10 minutes or so. So CLG have done a decent job slowing the game down a little bit more. That being said, it won't take much for FlyQuest to find picks and open up the game. Hui though with no enough to high. Shadow Assault gonna hop out of the way. Barely enough to keep himself alive.
Guess he was right. Didn't need the Hex Drinker.
Calculated as Hui is going to shove this wave down. Avatar for FlyQuest looking a little unhealthy here. Looks at CLG again, continuing to play smart around the map. Good ward from Lemon though, going to spot Afro and Xmithy.
Yeah, CLG have a bit of a power play here. Even though they didn't kill High, they ensured that he went to recall there. So CLG moved into the jungle to try and look for anyone that they could pick off. All of FlyQuest played defensively though. High goes for a very safe recall all the way in their territory at their turrets, and they actually don't give up any gold off of that. Just a little bit of mid-turret durability. Balls uses his ultimate to chase him off it though, to make sure it doesn't go down.
Now, FlyQuest has been playing it quite well. One thing, you know, for CLG at least, is that Xmithy has kept up somewhat in experience. He's quite a bit behind in gold, but after that early start, sometimes games can severely get out of hand, and you can see these massive level gaps opening up. So he's staying relevant. While he's not nearly as powerful, you know, 2,000 gold behind is still massive. He will have a chance to participate in team fights.
Yeah, FlyQuest kind of play the rest of this because it feels like they do want this mid outer turret. I'm a little confused why Caitlyn is bottom lane rather than mid. So FlyQuest looking to make a play, I suppose, trying to find a pick. Xmithy though, plenty of damage on the Lemon.
Yeah, they're trying to push kind of away from the Syndra right now, because Syndra is the safest of the wave clear. Graves can come over and lend a little bit of help, still fairly short range though. And CLG also, or FlyQuest also, with that push on bottom, leave behind a bunch of wards in the blue side of the jungle.
Yeah, they have been doing such a good job, and you can tell where they want to go based on where they are warding.
Top lane trouble though, maybe for balls.
Yeah, I think he got hit by the arrow.
Oh yeah, that's a wave in there as well. Bubble up.
Look at that damage back.
It out. He actually might go down. The burn, not there on the sticks there. Almost 1v2s though.
That is the power of that Rumble. He didn't even use his ultimate. He actually had the ultimate available. That should have been a kill for balls for sure. And if he actually drops the ult, he might have been able to turn that into a 1v2 because he got so much damage out. Maybe just underestimated how much he could do, but if you drop the ult here, I think you at least trade the kill. I mean, 2 Electro Harpoons, 1 less, 1 more ultimate, you at least get 1 kill.
Just a little bit quicker there on the mechanics. Getting out an extra spell would have definitely been able to secure at least summoner spells. I mean, 6-8 does have flash and heal. I believe he had those at the time, but getting summoner spells off that Ashe is totally worth it. You're running 2 assassins.
Oh, Moon here caught out.
Good pick maybe for Darshan, but now he's too far forward. Hops out of the way, back towards his teammates. High, waiting for a play. Who are you going to pull the blue buff away though? That's over to Syndra.
And another key thing to note is he may have just wanted to save his ultimate for a team fight to keep that power up. So, you know, that could have been a conscious decision, probably not, but still does have it available now, and CLG have to respect it.
This is the play for FlyQuest though. High stun,
nice stun.
Hui! Knock over the bubble as well, but there's the ulti down. Burns down 6A a little bit from the Rumble equalizer, but FlyQuest push just immediately goes away.
Yeah, he did get a lot of value out of his Rumble ultimate eventually though. He ended up getting a flash off Hugi, which is also important, and seemingly saved the lives of High and crew who were stunned up there.
Unfortunately for FlyQuest, what they don't get is any additional traction on the mid lane turret. High and Darshan dueling out, but CLG there first, so that's going to force High over the wall. And CLG, despite the deficit, it is playing up into FlyQuest's faces. FlyQuest, it's obvious where they want to attack, but CLG have exploited that time and time again.
Yeah, Altec is going to have to dodge this arrow. CLG are looking to dive.
FlyQuest do not want to lose this turret. Aphromoo moving forward. It's like a blue trinket might keep it safe, but CLG should get the turret off of this. FlyQuest, for all the pressure they've had, CLG are actually the first ones to take that mid-outer turret.
And setups like that are so smart from CLG because even if they back off, you get the turret, and if they don't, you get the dive.
Yeah, and I'm a little curious, High's not continuing his split push. FlyQuest opted for the 1-3-1 there. So they shove the side waves and then go for recalls on both of the solo laners here. Drake is coming up. It's just a Cloud Drake, though, so not the biggest one of them.
Well, I think FlyQuest maybe are playing a little more passive than we're used to, waiting for some item timings, but they have some now. Sonya's finished for balls, Infinity Edge finished for Altec with the Runins, and the Dustblade now finished for Hyatt. If there was ever time to start a fight, FlyQuest have to push the pace now.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what they are going to look for at this time. Fight around those item completions. You know your opponents will not have that when you have the gold lead.
They have a little bit of vision here, leading up to the Drake that they're about to start off here. And CLG showing Ashe top should really make a FlyQuest confident. They should know that there's no way the Ashe is coming here. Yeah, there they go. They don't get scared off. They're able to complete the Drake. And now all sights do turn towards the last outer turret remaining in the mid lane for CLG. And a little bit of minion pressure there on the top side as well. CLG could go offensive and try and get FlyQuest's top outer turret here.
Does feel like FlyQuest is a little too far behind, kind of managing their whole map here. CLG are a team that do well with side waves, play the map incredibly well, and FlyQuest are kind of running around, dealing with all these side waves. CLG, sure, like, you know, giving up things like that Drake, but they're trading it for smart pressure, and 6A is likely going to get this turret as well.
Yeah, they're sending so many people up here. Should be able to brute force just a couple more shots, and CLG do secure themselves some more of that global gold.
And if the game does start to stagnate like this, if CLG can push it to the later stages, the barrier of execution on assassination comps is pretty high. You know, you can't just run straight up the middle as high. You have to find flanks. You have to work in conjunction with Moon and time your assassinations well. If you can layer the Rumble ult and have the two assassins come in all at once, it can be very strong.
The other thing I think is you have to look to this Caitlyn. I mean, Altec, if things go well, his job should be very simple. He just shoots whoever's in, and the assassins kind of clean up the majority of that fight. If it doesn't, though, Altec's going to have to play very well to carry fights without a front line. Onto Hui, though, that's the problem. He needs to try and take it down. 6A a good target as well. Looks like Boss doesn't quite have the ultimate ready, but the
on the side, he's waiting.
High, looking for something in a leap.
He's going to go in.
Make the big play. Boss taking up the tower damage. Hui still fighting out of the way as Darshan TP's in. Looks like Boss going to try and take one down. Hops back in, and there's one. Altec connect. Fitch going to take him down. Altec, goodbye. Double kill there for Darshan. He does fall to Moon on the other end of the fight as High looking for more assassinations. 2-for-1 in favor of CLG, though.
Yeah, and FlyQuest are still pushing the minion wave here, but CLG have a decent amount of wave clear. Wonder if they can actually hold him off. Look like
oh no, that bubble gonna hit him. Hui, they're gonna try and take the wave clear down, but they've got two melee champions and a Karma with Altec dead. The poke's just not enough here. FlyQuest cannot break mid.
So hard for High to get in. You can see, even with a gold lead, how much easier it is for Hui to participate in that fight, because High, setting up for the flank, had good positioning, but Afromu easily able to respond, disengage him with their tidal wave, and then you can't just try to brute force it.
Zonya's now done for Hui, so his life is the one they want. Will be a lot harder to get. I mean, you can see Fly trying to force it out here, but CLG play it well.
That's right. Moon doesn't immediately go in for this and waits for them to all come out of the brush. Pretty good ultimate there from Balls, able to get a lot of damage down on 6A and eventually get both summoners. But then they kite so far back into both turrets and eventually get caught between that teleport pin and the extra damage there, as Hui is a lot of range, landing that stun. High finally can rejoin. Smithy just flashes over to the side there, though, avoids most of the damage. And, you know, High trying to get that flank and then coming back around. Didn't get to participate too much in the team fight.
Yeah, I mean, when you compare damage, but Lemon Nation getting caught out.
He's in a whole host of trouble. Goodbye, Darshan takes him out. The burst from CLG, more than enough.
Interesting collapse here from FlyQuest, though. They are outnumbered.
High getting a little high. He may be buying time for balls in the bottom lane. Moon actually found Darshan right now, but CLG know they have the advantage moving forward. Altec trying to fight up on the side as Moon gets knocked up by the ulti. Good flash out from under the Syndra, but Darshan now into the turret. Ball is going to commit here. Does have his ultimate as he moves in for the teleport. Darshan maybe caught a little too far forward. Ace in the whole boss equalizer. Not enough for the playful tricksters out.
Oh, Moon misses his bola, empowered bola under the turret, and then Darshan is eventually able to get out with that. A lot of ultimates used from FlyQuest as well, and CLG just working with the minions.
Plus the TP, that costs them so much. They don't have the Rumble to clear out the wave. High looking for assassination.
Wants Darshan and still does not have him. FlyQuest just can't get anything, and CLG are doing such a good job pressuring the game. I mean, Altec solos down mid just to make sure they get the turret. High stunned up though, that should be a kill. Bubble down, Smithy claims credit. And Altec's still going.
Yeah, FlyQuest are trying to stop the recalls, but they actually cost another kill here, and maybe...
Huhi flash in, stun lands onto elimination, but Bulls maybe takes him down. Damage is good. Great Sonya's there from Huhi, but Moon off to the side, leaps back in. Does get a kill, no one a rampage as the tidal wave's going to knock him up. Bulls looks for Stick Stake. Great Sonya's there. Double kill there for Moon. Going to keep moving forward for FlyQuest.
Altec is on the top side as an AD carry, flanking through a bunch of wards. I wonder if Darshan can catch him. FlyQuest on the chase!
Ulti from Rengar, they're going to turn it around. Snare's going to land. Stick stay down. Moon dominating as Altec going to try and claim one more victim. Xmithie, they're already out on FlyQuest. Finally win a team fight.
That is one of those FlyQuest calls. They're able to hold them around, and Darshan should be able to get out. But I mean, Altec staying mid lane while the rest of the team commits to trying to delay CLG. Even if they're losing some of the fight, they're getting turrets. They kill one and almost get the mid tier 2 as well, plus end up winning the team fight on the side for some great play.
Right, the super impressive thing is on the backside after the re-engage. So at this moment, FlyQuest are trying to keep vision and stop the recalls to buy time for Altec into pushing. Now that Hai has died, you expect all the threat to be gone from FlyQuest, and it's actually Huhi who flashes forward into a bunch of damage from balls that starts off the chain of FlyQuest kills.
Yeah, and I mean, Huhi wanted to commit to try to get more kills, but flashing for the support there with other members around is extremely risky, and that is what kind of went wrong for CLG in that skirmish.
Yeah, Balls got off like 85% of his health in punishment for that flash forward, and then he had nothing but the Zonias left.
I mean, Rumble played great, but I think Rengar played a little better. And I look down at Moon, 6-0-1, starting to rip through the members of CLG. Gonna face it, Xmithie, ball is good. No block, but it's not quite enough damage. Last Whisper can't quite punch through the graves there for Altec, but FlyQuest now back on the offensive.
Yeah, that's one of those ones, if he actually dies to that, you lay down a few question mark feet.
Lean over to your teammate and hit it.
He's like, I was standing here blocking it for you. Regardless, though, FlyQuest will be able to get the Drake off of that one, shoving the jungler off of the map, forcing that Xmithie to go heal up.
And what CLG was able to trade for that is control of the vision area. Xmithie is taking down the scuttle. They cleared out some wards, so they are establishing, an area of control around there to try to shut down any potential Baron rushes for FlyQuest.
Well, it looks like Fly are around the Baron area, so could pull the trigger on an
far up. He's going to get flanked here.
Assassination incoming. Hai gonna look for it. Xmithie gonna get raked up. Shadow Assault on. Xmithie absolutely dead. Hai takes him down. 1v1.
Woo, easy pickings there for Hai on the Talon. And now we've got the Rengar ultimate has been activated.
Well, Huhi leaps back in. He's almost going to take him down. The Banshee's about helped out a ton there as the Zonias and the Redemption are going to come down. Tidal Wave going to try and give Huhi safe, but it's not enough as Hai. Now looping in, looking for Stixay. Not going to get it, but FlyQuest barrel down mid lane.
Oh my goodness, the execution here for FlyQuest. The Banshee's Veil purchase for Moon coming in huge, knowing that every time he goes for Huhi, he's going to have to do something about this knockback here. Able to go in, set up the trap really well, and FlyQuest onto the Baron. CLG only 3 members, so it would be a miracle steal if they were able to get anything.
Yeah, and they're just going to call it off. They're going to send Darshan down to bot side, try to at least get a tier 1. But this is FlyQuest with a stranglehold on the game.
And this is FlyQuest in their element. This is the types of champions that you really like to see from these guys. Hai's on Assassin, Moon's going off on Assassin as well. And they're really pulling the map apart, making those calls to try and stop the enemy team while pushing up turrets. And it's really fun to see these guys actually in their element.
Yeah, 6,000 gold up. Hai goes back, finishes the Maw of Malmortius. Altec finishes his Lord Dominant Regards and has a Vamp Scepter to boot, but it's Balls I want to look at. That death cap is on the way soon. FlyQuest, we saw what their comp couldn't do when they didn't have a lead. We kind of criticized them for having no front line, but the payoff is now. FlyQuest's team does so much damage to everyone on CLG.
And playing without a front line can be super strong. It's just very risky against these pick compositions because if the wrong guy gets picked, he can be going down. But Moon is trying to build to deal with that a little bit as well. You can see he's going to tank, as Kobe called out, Banshee's Veil and building into probably a Randuin's.
Here we go. The Baron powered push from FlyQuest does claim 1 mid turret, and Altec here on the Caitlyn, quickly melting through another one.
Really smart though as well, because Huli's actually stranded bottom lane, trying to deal with Hai, Darshan getting poked out. I mean, FlyQuest have so much sieging power, and CLG don't really have their wave clear here.
That huge chunk due to those double traps there that Darshan ate up actually cost them a lot more turret health.
Maybe that CLG just has to give this up. I mean, that turret is almost dead. I think if you don't fight for that, he probably just back off as High is forcing on bot side too.
He finally made his way over, but High is just going to track him and make sure Syndra can't get in.
Yeah, and it's so difficult for Syndra to try and flank there because the rest of his team would have to go around those traps, and it would be a very awkward timing to actually collapse here.
Pretty aggressive brute force though from FlyQuest. Going to keep mid with Baron buff up for 90 more seconds. I mean, again, Hui's just continually tied up by High, who's level 18 with 3 big damage items already done. FlyQuest know they can be patient. They've got plenty of Baron left to play with.
Yep, and as soon as they see Hui start to walk over, everybody backs right off, and High gets a little bit more damage on the turn. There's the engage!
CLG trying for something, ulti onto Moon, but he is going to live through it. Redemption down, but he flushes out of the way. Elimination eats the ulti there from Darshan, but he flushes over the wall. High looks for Hui and doesn't get it. FlyQuest, though, are going to lead back over. Darshan goes down to High, and now the base is open in mid.
What an ultimate from Balls there to dissuade the rest of CLG from committing. Cuts off half the team and isolates Darshan. Big pickup here for FlyQuest. Inhibitor plus that bottom turret.
And they're up to such a big goal lead off that play. That was huge for them. CLG didn't feel like they could just bleed these objectives out. They decided to go for the fight, and they do lose.
Well, we'll watch it all again. I like how CLG tried something here.
Yeah, I mean, the bubbles from Aframu have been on point. Big setup here, leads to a lot of damage onto Moon. Moon is able to heal back some of it up with Elimination and Shielding. Then there's that ultimate from Balls, though. The rest of CLG have to retreat inside their base, and Darshan left out to dry there. He is going to go down to the assassination there from Talon.
And this is often how fights can look. Even a good fight, when you are behind in gold, you just don't have quite enough damage to finish people off. You know, if you have another item here or there, if the gold is more even, Lemon and Moon probably go down right away, but it's not the state of the game we're in.
Yeah, Altec just going to ulti Hui, actually does a little bit of poke damage here, but FlyQuest still shoving in. They've got top wave going. Mid supers will help out, of course, and no Baron, but maybe no problem here as FlyQuest happy to force for this bottom lane.
And I think they can. I mean, High is going to push in mid, and he's going to threaten flanks on the turret and threaten the damage on the Nexus turret. So this is, you know, a multi-pronged type attack, and CLG is going to have to choose their moment and look for an engage.
Well, you can see, again, FlyQuest is happy to wait. They've got the sieging power of the Caitlyn. QSS up for Altec as well means that he's going to be awfully safe. The Death Cab also now done for Balls, so I think he might have had it in that last team fight, but it speaks to how much damage the carries of FlyQuest are doing. Darshan is top lane trying to deal with that, but Xmithy caught out here. Fatal Assault on for High, going to look for Xmithy, but not going to find it. You can see just how much work FlyQuest did. 4,800 gold pretty much on the Baron power play, and more or less 10k up.
Yeah, and they don't really have to do any more brute force plays. They already have mid inhibitor down. Drake is coming up in 5 seconds. They could just retreat back and sort of mine the map a little bit more. Maybe even actually get a face check from CLG if FlyQuest are actually able to set up. It looks like they are trying to go for a pick.
Ulti up from Rengar. Who's he looking to hunt down? It is actually Styx. They're going to leave behind. He carry big ult from Balls. Going to separate the rest of them. Hui goes down as High, straight in for the backline. Styx isn't going to go down, but High protected by Elimination Shields. FlyQuest still chasing for a few more kills. Can they find it? No, looks like CLG do retreat safely, but 5v4 around the Elder Dragon.
Yep, Elder Dragon is available. Baron in 1 minute and 50 seconds.
And one of the biggest wins here is getting the flash off of Styxay. He needs to be able to succeed in these team fights, and now against a Rumble and double Assassins, a flashless Ashe has almost no chance.
Plus, with actually securing that kill onto Hui, there's just too many things for CLG to deal with. They have super minions coming up mid, both of the side lanes are pushed, and there's no way that they can face check again. FlyQuest did a good job of keeping vision over most of the map as they pressured CLG inside their own base.
Now they've got the Elder Dragon and can run over to the Baron when it spawns in 1 minute 15. They'll have a bit of that buff to play with and deal insane amounts of damage to the Baron, but FlyQuest know all they have to do is wait in the pit and see what CLG react with.
I mean, one thing that could buy CLG some time is if Darshan can find someone isolated in the 1v1, get a pick. You know, picks are really what helps you delay the push, delay the attack on Baron, and get you a hope of getting back into the game.
High going to start side lane pressure in the bottom lane though. He's got 45 seconds till that Baron's up. Ball's back to the top lane, but just making sure Darshan isn't pushing too far forward. The rest of FlyQuest anchored mid lane, making sure to keep the super minions up, pressuring the base.
And the GA purchase here for High now at level 18, high damage, and he can actually dive in and trade himself out. As long as he kills off Styxay, it doesn't matter if he dies.
Meanwhile, FlyQuest are trying to shove up the lanes, and they were looking for anybody, dangerous enough to go farm outside of their walls. But with all the defensive vision from CLG, they see Moon laying in wait in their jungle, and nobody is really extending this time around.
Yeah, CLG aren't really the team that plays super sloppy, so good on them to not extend too far forward into FlyQuest Assassin.
I also do like the choice of FlyQuest to use the Elders to secure the Baron instead of using it to try to push aggressively and risk getting picked off. This way they keep all 5 members alive, they establish control around Baron, and they will have it to push for that.
Yeah, and Moon is going to chase Smithy down. Actually leaps in 3 times, chunking the Graves down to half health. You can see still the Elder Dragon Burn doing a lot of work. Arrow out, finds
ball caught out.
You get called back up as well. Fish can land for Darshan. That's the kill for CLG, but FlyQuest might still fancy the engage. Moon is straight in onto Stixxay, just trying to do the damage, still doing so much.
High's here now.
He's going to go down high, diving back in, looks for Darshan, pops the Shadow Assault as Hui, ult onto Altec and almost takes him down high, back in onto the Assassins. There's the 4v4 now going to start as Hui falls to high.
Yep, FlyQuest able to save that one after Balls does go down. They still have Elder Dragon here.
CLG though, I think realizing this could be a moment to try something. Elder Dragon about to wear off. Moon dives back in onto the tank.
Very
though.
low.
Darshan forward high, raking onto Darshan. Altec straight forward, trying to blow somebody up. They really have to kill Stixxay, and they want it. Elimination. He's going to flash forward. Stixxay zoned away. Means Altec flashes in with a rune and boss. There's one down to Afromu. Darshan bleeding low as he tanks up the wolves and high over the wall. In onto Stixxay. He's found the AD carry. Stixxay can't do anything as Altec grabs the double kill. FlyQuest now going to move straight towards bottom lane as Smithy caught down as well. Dashes out from under the tether.
And they have an exposed inhibitor here as well. They're chasing around some kills. But look, they're attacking all lanes at once here. Moon goes for the exposed inhibitor. Teleport comes in for Balls to push top lane to try and get one right after that as well.
50 seconds on Darshan. I think they have more than enough time to deal the death blow here. Whether or not the end of the game, they can clear everything out, and they want to go for the end.
Yep, straight for the throat here for FlyQuest. Almost always the way. Long time on Darshan and pretty long on Stixxay as well. Hui is here to try and clear this out, but he's actually chunked low already. They take one Nexus turret, they'll fall back, they'll kind of split the difference here and take down yet another inhibitor.
Double inhibitor down, Baron still on the table. So hard for CLG to ever get out of your base and actually try to contest that objective now. The gold lead's still extending for FlyQuest, and they really have been making it work in the late game.
All right, let's take another look at the reinitiation here. Teleport channels. Moon actually goes in full knowledge that that teleport is completing, just saving his empowered W to get right back out, and barely takes any harassment at all. By doing that, he also opened up the window for Altec to go super aggressive. Altec is netting forward, getting this auto attack range because his front line is soaking up for him, and they're able to rack up the rest of the kills.
And there's so much threat from high because he still had full health, full damage up. He could always engage if they turned around on Altec, and that really gave him the confidence.
I think he's still got GA up as well, so continued threat there as Balls. Once again eats an arrow, but that's not nearly enough for CLG to find the fight.
A lot of damage though.
He's going to sacrifice the GA, but he's going to lead back into Stixxay. Assassination! High takes down! Flashes up to safety back towards his team. Now Hui takes out Altec though. Big ulti from Syndra could turn it back around for CLG. High now into Darshan. The rest of the fight.
Hui's still alive on the side. They're getting everyone.
They're still going in, and now Moon's a little too far forward. CLG play that wonderfully. So many GAs getting popped, but Moon is going to get shut down by Smithy.
How did they do it? CLG pull off a miracle fight. Even though High gets the assassination, the 3-man squad of Hui, Darshan, and Afromu played incredibly well.
Yeah, Lemonation goes over to shield High in his 1v1 with Darshan. Darshan was chasing High down. Even though High had that Guardian Angel you're talking about, which could buy time, let's look at the way that they split this team fight here. Because High does get off this really good assassination on Stixxay, and then he gets himself out here. Darshan goes for the chase, and Altec just gets annihilated by Hui. That was just Hui coming up big once again for CLG on the other side of the split.
This is very risky. Smithy is low, and CLG are trying to play for the win here.
Great stun there from Hui. Maybe can turn the fight around. High leaps out over the wall to safety as the Hawkshot's going to spot the rest of the team coming. Still only 2v3, but the Baron did too much damage to CLG.
Yeah, now they have to base, so this opens up the opportunity for FlyQuest to get control over this area.
Yeah, they're going to find Elimination, but they're happy to cancel backs here. Stixxay still in the base trying to clear out minions.
Not to mention the bottom lane there is going to be able to take that inhibitor turret if Darshan doesn't get over there very quickly. FlyQuest once again can pressure 2 areas of the map at the same time.
And Darshan has no TP. I mean, he's over here clearing. I'm not sure the FlyQuest has it tracked well enough to know this, but he's got to run.
Only thing FlyQuest have to worry about is a Baron steal from Smithy.
It is Smithy. He's done it time and time again. Can he do it here for CLG?
FlyQuest forcing the Baron arrow into Moon, not going to be enough. CLG still waiting here, but FlyQuest being patient. Smithy gets annihilated by balls. And now High leaps over. Baron to FlyQuest. High chasing down onto Afromu. Afro going to speed himself up, but High leaps over the wall. Super Minion's going to help him out. Afromu just has nowhere to go. Shadow Assault down. There's the bleed. And Afro still running away, but High, he can just take his time.
But on the other side, they're fighting, and CLG could look to try to fight it back.
Balls though doing a lot of damage. Artek jumped on by Darshan, but I don't think he's got enough to the GA. He's going to
Oh, Artek might go
he's
down.
going to go down, but the shield's good there from Lemonation. Redemption going to keep him up. There's a shutdown onto who he pulls. A very clean zone is, and there's the ace from FlyQuest.
And that should do it. This is going to be game 4. FlyQuest will not go down. They are going to clean it up.
A huge bevy of kills, a big lead, and FlyQuest played their own game. And it's enough here for at least one game win versus CLG. Nexus gonna go fall, and FlyQuest momentum stays up for now. The start of the reverse sweep begins. I guess step one.
First stroke.
Step 1 has been completed. Step 1 of 3.
Yeah, High is very well aware of the mechanics of reverse sweeps, and that is step number 1 going for him. Whew. The Talon pick comes up big. They're able to get Moon the Rengar and the dream start for the double assassins. First blood onto the Rengar, flash blown on the mid laner.
Yeah, and that was so big, but they did play very well with it. Extremely aggressive, always looking to make plays, always looking to push the pace, and they played a great game. CLG down the stretch did have some pretty crazy, scrappy team fighting. It kept it close, but in the end, FlyQuest just had too much of an advantage.
And I think in general, like, full credit to Moon and Hype for kind of doing what they're known to and really carrying the game out. I mean, we've seen Balls rumble twice now, and it just feels like it's getting picked on. This was a rumble game where Balls shows why he's so good at rumble and why FlyQuest want to pick it for him.
Also, the Caitlyn pick that came in big once again for Altec, and has been something that's done a lot of good for them during the regular season.
Well, now for an in-depth look at how FlyQuest came back into the series, let's send it over to the analysts.
Thank you very much, Pastry. I'm happy to say that we have a series now here with FlyQuest striking back in Game 3, extending it to Game 4. And again, we got to focus in on this champion select as it's developed throughout the series, because now we have FlyQuest making a very nice adjustment. Double solo lane picks in that first rotation, in that first pick phase, in order to secure the AD mid alongside the Rumble in the top lane.
Right, you give them 2 ban phases, they're going to ban out both your solo lanes, so you got to take both before that second ban phase kicks in. That's why they go with that Talon pick really early on. And to be fair, it did feel like a little unfortunate for Huhi. Maybe that Syndra pick would have been enough to control the Talon, but the game didn't quite shake out that way.
Yeah, the fact that the Rengar got first blood and Huhi had to blow his flash, you lose Syndra pressure against the Talon, and what you want to do is just shove him in, or at least throw spheres the entire time, but then there's kill threat on you, and that just really sucks. So it's kind of like, sure, they got Rumble and Talon in that first draft. They allowed themselves to actually be counterpicked in both solo lanes, so I don't love the draft in that sense. I like the level 1, and I feel like that helped circumvent some of the issues that may have happened.
And let's talk about that level 1 for a moment, because it was a wonky one, to say the least, because we had the line of scrimmage start, and then didn't see the Pixel Brush ward dropped by FlyQuest. CLG then go for a 2-man invade, which nets a kill over to a Rengar. The last person you want to give a first blood to is a Rengar, of all people.
Because he gets the Bone Tooth necklace stack, he has more AD going through the jungle, he can go back and buy. It just ends up being really bad, and then he's ahead, gets to level 6 faster, and it's just a big snowball from there.
Yeah, and you saw that Moon did a great job over that early game, accruing a CS lead, not just like kind of resting back like, great, I'm a little bit ahead, but actually pushing the advantage. They had a ton of topside vision. You saw them, I think around level 6, you saw both him and Balls going in really deep, getting complete topside vision control and making it a lot easier to play the game out from there.
Absolutely, and of course, with more power on the jungle, we saw what that kind of did to free up Balls a little bit more in the matchup, and the casters were hitting it there. That's the Balls rumble that we're used to, or that we all still hold near and dear to our hearts and our memories. And of course, but he needs to be set up a little bit for success on that champion, and then through the mid game, some amazing equalizers.
Right, and I think a big thing that happened in that mid game did stall out a little bit for FlyQuest. They could not break the mid outer turret, and they spent a lot of time working around that. CLG did a good job holding. It looked like they might eventually come back into the game, but then they got a little over aggressive and they lost it.
Yeah, and that's kind of like, They almost were back in it, and then I think that's kind of the composition from FlyQuest. They could allow you back into the game because it wants to snowball, and if the momentum gets taken away, then you're in a really good spot. But Counter Logic Gaming, they did good sieges, but it wasn't quite enough.
Yeah, it definitely stalled out for a bit in the mid lane. We even saw a couple really solid fights go in the way of CLG. But as you mentioned, with an assassin on the map, everything can change at the drop of a hat, and that's exactly what we saw. 30-30 into the game, high with a solo kill in the top lane. They then curtail that into a skirmish mid, plus a Baron on the back end of all of this.
And like we were saying, this is finally after CLG's mistakes that the mid lane turret's down. It frees up the map a lot for you to be able to find paths to get these assassinations. So Smithy thinks he's just going to be clearing the top side. Talon, extremely fast championing around getting the map. Gets to the top lane, picks him off. Now it's a 4v5. You're not safe with the turret behind you anymore. It gives Moon easier angles to find these members of CLG to open up on them. He gets taken low. Has to Zanya's in a not great spot, and he's going to get finished off here by the rest of FlyQuest.
Yeah, and then they'll jump in right afterwards. But yeah, that turret being down was very big because the Talon wants to roam around. As soon as you lose your mid turret against a team like FlyQuest and High is on one of those assassins, one of those guys he likes to split push on a bit, you can get caught out and flanked so easily, and that's really the strength they were playing to there.
Either way, FlyQuest is going to be very happy to at least have the win under their belt, and then to know that they did have the gold lead the entire way through. We see that small blip in the gold graph around that 25 to 27 minute mark. But aside from that, a fairly well played game in terms of closing it out. Once again, speaking to the experience on both of these teams in the shot calling and ability to close out once they've established a lead.
And I think what they found in the draft here is great. We're saying that, you know, you did give up 2 counter picks, but you found finally a way that you can get stuff going for your team, because you saw High on Talon was like a totally different player. Yeah. He was able to influence the entire map, was going top, bot, all over the place.
And you mix up your damage palette too, so building a magic resistance against the mid laner isn't going to help you against that top laner, because Rumble wants to go for the flat penetration build. He wants to be able to be the sole magic damage dealer of the team, so people aren't going to itemize against him necessarily.
It also forces CLG, as we just saw them on your screens there, to completely rethink their approach to champion select here in Game 4, because we've now seen that FlyQuest, who also has side selection in Game 4, that they're willing to pick both of their solo laners blind. And that obviously does a lot in terms of kind of that mental game, war game, when it comes to champion select around, do we need to ban these things first phase now instead of second phase? Or do we need to have more picks prepared to counter directly into those champions that we know they're willing to pick 100% of the time right off the bat?
The big thing is the fact that you saw CLG preferring to ban out the top lane in the first rotation of the ban phase, because those tanks are a little safer to take blind. But you have to think now, is it better to get rid of the Zed Talon right away and give counterpick to Darshan, or counterpick the Zed Talon after they show him early?
Oh, but what happens if you ban Rumble instead? That kind of in my mind says, okay, we can't play Talon or Zed this game because we're not going to have AP top lane. You might have to pick like an AP jungler in that case.
Yeah, I mean, there's enough residual damage. Like if you get a Zyra plus an Elise, like you're starting to make it so you can't completely ignore it. And then if you have some other kind of AP tank like a Maokai, you probably have enough AP damage at that point that they still need to grab some itemization against it.
What's interesting is up to this point, both teams have chosen red side games 1 through 3. This time around, FlyQuest with the choice has opted to remain on blue side. So getting the victory here, they're feeling comfortable remaining in this position when it comes to champ select and giving away a counter pick, which might, again, kind of point to the fact that, hey, we're happy to take our solo laners blind. We don't need a counter to beat you.
Yeah, that's actually super interesting. But this also enables them to get the possibility of getting Rengar first again for Moon, or they get Lulu, and then they'll most likely pick their solo laners in the second round.
Final thoughts.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I was going to agree. I think the Rengar is the bigger thing. You saw Smithy have great games on it. Now you see Moon have his own good game on it, and I think it's becoming the priority jungler between the two teams right now. And getting blue side, it seems like FlyQuest identified that.
All right, 2-1 CLG still out to a lead. We're going to take a quick break, but meet us back here to see if FlyQuest can carry this momentum forward and bring us to Game 5 and some silver scrapes.
Reverse
Best
sweep?
part. Best part
nice.
is get to 5.
It's a rage.
Go fizz. Go fizz. Here's GM. Careful, dying Syndra. Lemon mark Syndra. Oh my god. I might be dead here. I'm coming over, guys, but I'm coming. Okay, nice. Yam.
Okay, please.
Oh, that's hard.
That's a fucking tough fiesta.
Yeah, we win.